Hi, and welcome back, parents, friends, and guests to the SSD of St. Louis Parent Advisory Council. I am Rebby Goebel, your PAC president for this year, and I have your November headlines. So in November, I am so stoked to say that we welcomed a new member and had some new guests join us. Love to see new faces. It means that all of the efforts that we're doing to increase membership and get the word out about our organization is working. So that is our last 3 meetings that we've had where we have added a new member to our ranks, which just makes my little heart go pitter patter. So good job talking to other people about this and getting the word out. Thank you so much for all of the efforts that you are doing to make our Parent Advisory Council a thriving, vibrant community that can really do some good advocacy work for our kids. So to get into the meat of what we talked about in November, we did have a quick superintendent's report. She's still really focusing on getting out to all of the schools and the classrooms. She's been to over 150 classrooms so far. And that they're starting the budgeting process, and they're going to be meeting with all partner districts individually starting in January, which I think is a really great thing for her to do as a new superintendent and new to the St. Louis arena, so to speak. So I think that's going to be fantastic. She's going to be talking about, what kind of training their staff might need within the different partner districts. And there's also going to be a spring campaign that they're going to do, highlighting some of the staff members and why it's a great place to work, so that in their efforts of keeping, hiring, attracting, hiring, and then retaining staff members, that they are able to do that more effectively and efficiently. So that is a good thing as well. Last piece from the superintendent report is that the Board of Education for SSD is going to have 3 vacancies, and that application process is going to open up on December 15th. There will be applications online, I believe, that you can download, and then I think you have to turn them in person. The Board of Education for Special School District really focuses on the 5 SSD schools that they are completely responsible for, and influences a little less how things happen in the partner districts. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to reach out to either the Parent Advisory Council or to a member on the Board of Education to ask questions. But you have to live within the following districts to apply for the Board of Education. Sorry, rookie move, not turning my phone off. Anyways, to apply for these Board of Education positions, it's in Hazelwood, Rockwood, and Ladue, or Melville. So you have to be from one of those districts in order to apply for these 3 open vacancies. Again, if you have any questions, don't be shy. Shoot us a quick email. Okay, and then the meet, we actually had 2 topics that we talked about at our November meeting. The first one was a follow-up on para-parent communication, which was a real hot topic meeting that we had back in February of last year. Parents want to be able to talk to paras, and it makes sense since the paras are generally the ones dealing with the day-to-day nitty-gritty details of caring for our children if you qualify, if your child has qualified for para support. So there was a committee that was formed at the, okay, you guys, I have a sit stand desk and I just poked the button. That's what that was. Okay. So based off of the meeting that was held and the feedback that was given back in February, there was a committee that was formed, and they met over the summer and really kind of reinvigorated here in the fall and came up with this draft document called the paraprofessional family communication document. And they gave us time to go through and take a look at it. It's in a draft form, so I'm not going to link to it or share it just yet. But it basically goes through and gives us a list of what types of things, like topics and subjects that the paras could communicate with parents about, and then what are the things that are more appropriate to come through the teacher. So if it's discipline, it should be going through the teacher. If it's IEP goals, IEP data, those types of things, that should be coming through the teacher. But if it's daily functioning, like bathrooming or lunch, or we had a really rough day and or a rough morning and I just need you to have a heads up, those types of things. Asking about like social interactions, like how are they doing at recess or in the lunchroom, those types of things can come through the paras. So then they just kind of put some key points for the paras. This is meant to be a training document for the paraprofessionals. And the first thing was, remember our families are diverse. And the second thing is stay positive and always be professional. And I love that they started with those two things. The feedback that our parents who were at the meeting gave was that this is a really great start and we would love to see this implemented. We'd like to see a kind of companion document be created for parents and families so that that can be given to families so that it's all on the same page. We made suggestions like, we'd love to see everybody sign off on the back of this so that we know that everybody has agreed. We'd love to see this part of a larger communication agreement or communication plan. There are some really great suggestions in the room. So they're going to take that along with the feedback that they've gotten from both paraprofessionals and from teachers and take a look at incorporating them all and finalizing this document. Once I have a final or a final draft, I will share it as much as I can, and it will be up on our PAC website for sure once it is in its final version. So the second thing that we talked about during last week's meeting is I gave a report back or summarized all of the information that we had done back in October's meeting. So in October, we had talked about what good communication looks like and how we were hoping to provide some consolidated feedback to special school district to see if we can change what beginning of the school year communication really looks like. And a lot of things paralleled and echoed what we had talked about in the professional family communication, that a lot of this is just some like, hey, how are ya? Who's on our team? Information at the beginning of the school year. So I'm going to share my screen here and show you the slides that I presented to the Parent Advisory Council. So these are the key themes that came out of the feedback that everybody gave during October's meeting. We don't want any surprises. Communication should be consistent. That building trust is necessary, that there needs to be a timely communication of resources and changes, and that communication should be respectful. So when we took a look at all of these kind of keywords and themes that came out of everyone's input, we also, if you remember, you were there, asked for people to give suggestions on what things would help, what would make the beginning of the year go more smoothly for our kids and for the other families that we represent from our districts and schools. So our suggestions are to have one about me form per child, not one per teacher, so that if your child works with multiple staff members within the school, you aren't given multiple interest forms or about me forms to fill out about your child. We're asking that all of the staff within a particular school get together and collaborate on creating one form that families can fill out at the beginning of the year. We'd like parents and teachers to discuss and agree on a communication plan before school starts so that we understand how often we're going to get updates and what the best way to communicate with staff members and families are, whether that be email or phone calls or using an app that any one particular school might have in place. Before school starts, the staff schedule and any required school supplies should be communicated to families. And with the staff communication, we'd like to have everyone's contact information, a short bio, as well as a little thumbnail photo so that for the kids that are much more visual than verbal or have some anxiety, that they have a picture and they know, hey, this is who the teacher's going to be, and this is who your main para support person is going to be prior to school starting. Over and over again, this suggestion popped up that there be a quiet open house hosted before school starts. So before whatever the sneak peek or open house is, before school starts, if in the 20 minutes before the rest of the school shows up, if our kiddos could come in and meet not only their general classroom teacher, but any support staff or at least the case manager, the SSD teacher, meet them before everyone else shows up, that would be really beneficial and ease some anxiety by taking them out of the chaos of everyone else showing up. And then also we are asking that SSD teachers be available during Meet the Teacher Night and parent-teacher conferences so that we're able to go and just like you go and get the 15, 20-minute introduction to the general education teacher, we'd like to be able to have a session like that with the special education teacher. And also their input during parent-teacher conferences is invaluable. So those are the suggestions that we have. And we intend to send these to Dr. Keenan and her staff, and we will follow back up with everyone probably in about the May timeframe to see if SSD intends to implement any of them. I only have three more things. So we went through, double checked on the legislative actions. It's pretty quiet still right now in our Missouri legislature. We'll let you know if anything pops up there. And then we have two things coming up that I want to make you aware of. On December 3rd, I talked about it probably the last 2 months. I want to make sure that everybody knows about it. On December 3rd, they are hosting a guest speaker. The Parent Education Department is hosting a guest speaker who is the co-creator of this series of tools that you can use to prepare your child for life. And it's the tool that we used back in October with the trajectory and what's a good life and what do we not want. And so that co-creator is going to be there giving a family workshop. It's on December 3rd from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at the SSD central office. The address is always in the show notes down below this video on YouTube. So click through to YouTube so that you can get that address there in Town and Country. And then our last meeting of 2019 is on December 11th. So we hope to see you there. We hope to keep up our trend here of introducing and voting in new members each and every time that we get together and having new faces come and visit us. So If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email us. I will put the information about those 2 events in the notes as well. And the links to all of these PowerPoint slides and everything are always on our website. So if you go to our documents tab and then click on agenda, meetings, minutes, and slides, everything from all of our past meetings is right there for you. So, and that will also include the slides from the para-parent communication presentation that we had. So I hope to see everyone in December. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving for those of you who are going to celebrate that holiday. And I hope to see everyone in December.